The 10-minute drill.
This is a big one.
Covered by Universal Roof and Contracting. The difference is universal.
On 1010XL.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Hit it.
All right. Sports concepts and rationalizations coming your way. We call it the 10-minute drill. We do it each and every morning. And at the end of the segment, we like to hand out a little prize pack. Beaver, what are we giving out today?
We're going to hook one lucky Goo Get Up with a selection from the 1010XL Holiday Gift Guide. They'll get a $50 gift card to the spa at One Ocean and a $25 gift certificate from Tobacco Cove. Those and other great holiday gift ideas are at 1010XL.com.
I love those. That's wonderful. It's the most wonderful time of the year. I don't know if you people know that or not, but if you don't, lock in and load on that because it's a great time to be alive. It really
What does
is.
it say for – I don't make a ton of out of all conference teams. I mean, all you need to know is Alabama on the first and second team had 12 of the 48 total, and they're going to the Citrus Bowl. So it's all relative. I would suggest that if you indeed had 12 of the top 48, you wouldn't be 10-2. You would, but nonetheless,
Right.
Does it say anything for Dan Mullen or for the Gator program that of the first and second team in the SEC, they only got 3 players?
Dan Mullen, everything seems to be going his way. He sure gets a lot of credit for everything, and because he doesn't recruit well, or
Hasn't recruited. Well is probably not the right word.
Yeah.
Terrifically.
yes, top 5-ishly.
Yeah, correct. Well, there's 7, I think, in one, so maybe.
Anyway, so, it says more for Dan Mullen. Once again, it says John Grenard, by the way, and Kyle Pitts were the first teamers. David Reese was the second teamer. That's David Reese, the middle linebacker, older guy. In case you wonder, they have 2 David Reeses.
Yeah, I saw he was misidentified as the freshman in a couple of the AP reports.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. But who did they miss anybody?
I think Florida was guilty of the receiver by committee. All those receivers played at an all-SEC level. They just didn't get enough numbers. I mean, just really all. I mean, Swain had a terrific year.
Yeah.
Jefferson had a terrific year.
Yeah.
Josh Hammond had moments, not a terrific. I think Swain was their best receiver, Dan. Week in, week out, Freddie Swain made plays.
I thought Pitts probably was, but yeah, I would say
Pitts kind of tailed off. Pitts was their only first-team on offense, their only first-team selection.
Right.
And that's good news. He's only a sophomore.
Right. But, yeah, overall, not bad.
There's a lot made of all that Florida's losing, but they got a lot coming back also.
Yeah.
They'll have enough to.
Well, they got a legitimate shot.
Tony and Copeland and Pitts, that's off the top of my head. Grimes is another year. I mean, they're going to be fine. Because remember when last year's – the reason I say this, last year's recruiting class fell apart. We're like, well, it won't matter this year, but, it might in 20 and 21.
Clay County Gator said the kicker is better than Rodrigo.
Okay.
Rodrigo tailed off at the end.
Yeah. I never liked that Rodrigo cat. I'm ready for him to leave.
I know.
That's an obnoxious little so-and-so. You're not supposed to.
Georgia loves their Rodrigo.
By the way, I'd like to make a shout out. Very brave, bold, and I thought intelligent move by Hashtag, who failed to show before about 10:30 when I left yesterday.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, nice job, Hashtag. Run that mouth all year.
Yeah.
And then when the truth comes home at the end of the season, you're nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
So
we really, Georgia was an interesting weekend, and a lot of, I will tell you this, amongst Georgia people, and again, I'm just an outsider looking in, and I don't care, but some were taken aback by Kirby Smart's comments.
what did he say?
Well, he sort
Just
of
how good LSU is?
No, he sort of threw his guys under the bus, but he didn't take accountability, and some
That's
Georgia
the opposite of here.
some Georgia people did not like that.
Well, I didn't see. I'd have to know specifically.
He kind of threw the receivers.
They were hurt, though.
Yeah, and kind of threw those guys under the bus. And I read a few things. I like to go behind enemy lines and read up on it. And they don't like Georgia fan this year. Doesn't like the OC, and they were a little bit bothered by Smart's comments after the game. And amongst themselves, they'll whisper about the thing we talked about yesterday is Fields versus. Fromm.
And don't forget Easton's also a part of that.
And one of the things I said yesterday when we were doing the podcast and talking about the Gators was, as you look ahead to next year, Frank Frangie feels that Kyle Trask is no doubt the starter for Florida. And I said, well, it probably is. But again, I think you have to open the position, let him compete in the spring. Emory Jones has been getting better. And quite frankly, there's no question he's better suited to run Dan Mullen's offense. And in this day and age, you have to re-recruit players, but you don't want to have a Fields Fromm situation.
Well, the good
at
thing
Florida.
that you know about Kyle Trask is he won't go anywhere if he's not given the job.
Right.
So and I think Georgia fan, the lightning rod may be in some comment. The Georgia fans not happy because they lost.
That's correct.
And listen, again, it's hard to win national titles. If you get your shot, you better hit a home run. And the Gators have been fortunate, and when they've gotten the game, they've won the game. Auburn's been fortunate when they lost to FSU, I guess. Tennessee won the game. I mean, you got to win the game when you get there. They're hard to win. And guess what? As disappointing as Fromm's performance was this year, he's been a steady rock there at quarterback, and then, soon he's going to be gone.
Yeah.
And then soon, one of these years, you're not going to have Sony Michel and Nick Chubb in the backfield. You're just going to have a guy.
I think there's a bigger story here, though, about and again, I guarantee if you go to the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures in a couple minutes, how do you sit down a kid who had him within one play of winning a national championship and won an SEC and blah, blah, blah. I get it, but that's the coach's job to recognize talent. And is it an indictment on Kirby Smart that he didn't recognize, or is it a compliment to Kirby Smart that he stuck with Fromm? But Fields is clearly head and shoulders better quarterback than Jake Fromm. Clearly. And Fromm did regress this year, too, now. Fromm wasn't as good.
Fields was a freshman last
Bottom
year.
line
So
is
the only year that matters is last year.
This year. If Fields had been the starter, Georgia would be in the Final Four.
I understand.
No doubt in my mind.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's not for sure, but I hear what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, as
My
sure
point
as I'm
is,
sitting here,
he was a
they would
freshman-
not have lost to South Carolina.
He was a freshman in 18, though, is what I'm saying. So there was no overlap between Fields and Eason.
No. No.
Yeah.
But he didn't play him. Remember the whole deal? He's going to play him.
He played him about as much as Cam played behind Tebow.
Yes.
And that's what. And look what happened with Cam.
Yes.
Now Cam left because some other convoluted reason. But at the end of the day, it was because they had Tim Tebow.
Right. I just think it's interesting how that all panned out, and it's certainly worth looking at and questioning. Did he make a mistake by not going with a better player?
Here's the unfair
or
part.
did he
to me.
do the right thing by going with the guy who's sort of the leader of the team?
Well, it's not sort of. He took him to within a whisker of the national title.
One play.
And then the next year against Alabama, same thing, and played good in those games. So he had an unexpectedly poor year.
But there was times last year where he was slumping, and they could have played Fields, and there was a lot of talk. And then going into the Florida game, you're going to see Fields in this game.
we never did.
And we never did.
Yeah.
I'm just saying he had no intention of playing Fields. Fields goes there, so he leaves. He goes to Ohio State, and now Ohio State is playing, and he's a Heisman Trophy finalist, and Georgia's not, and Fromm is not a Heisman Trophy finalist. So I guess my question is, what's the coach's job?
Well, the coach's job also is, is Georgia capable, or not maybe capable, comfortable? Is it outside their realm to have a dual-threat quarterback? I mean, before Fromm, it was Eason. Before, they've been a drop back.
Right. Run.
Yeah.
Tailback.
Correct. They're a tailback, run the ball, pro formation.
Pro style,
So that may have factored into it a little bit, too.
I don't think he would have had the numbers he had at Ohio State. I concur with you. Do you concur, Beef?
I concur, Dr. Connor.
Thank you. But overall, he's a better player. He's a better passer. He's a better quarterback. He's just better. He's going to – so it's just interesting, and I get it on both sides. I think there's two sides to the argument, but it's fair to certainly to sit here and discuss and wonder what would have been or what could have been for the Georgia Bulldogs. And I will maintain forever that had he handed the ball to Fields this year as the better quarterback, they'd be in the Final Four.
Some talk that – remember Felipe Franks when he came out of high school flipped to the Gators.
From LSU. Is that where he's headed?
No, but who was the coach at LSU when he flipped?
Who?
Les Miles.
Oh, Kansas.
He's at Kansas.
That'd be good.
Yeah, that'd be a good. Again, it's just a rumor, but circulating that he could wind up at Kansas, where obviously he had at least some sort of connection with Les Miles to have committed to him, initially. So
yeah, that wouldn't be bad.
It'd be perfect for if you're Florida. Is there a better place that you could want your quarterback to go than just stuck out somewhere?
You always want him to go somewhere where it doesn't affect you.
Correct. And
But he doesn't. Felipe Franks doesn't owe Florida anything. He can go wherever he wants. Is he graduated? Is he?
I don't know,
or is
but
he just-
I do think that because of the injury, and I mean now
Yeah.
it's just there are different rules. Now.
Yeah.
Problem is they're kind of haphazardly applied. It seems.
Haphazardly is a perfect word to describe how they are applied. All right, what did you make of the Strasburg signing? And Garrett Cole now will get $300+ million.
If I'm a Nats fan, I'm willing to pay Steven Strasburg on past performance. I think it's dicey. Baseball's funny from this standpoint. It's the longest season, yet if you're going to pay a pitcher a lot of money, you better be in the short season, or it's just not worth it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now the Nats have enough young talent that if they don't sign Rendon and they have this pitching staff back intact, I think that they're going to be a playoff contender anyway. And it's weird. Who would you rather have, Strasburg or Rendon? You're a Mets fan.
Yeah, I probably would. I thought you talked about that Rendon, but like I said, I've rethought this pitching thing because of all these cats who were, who I've watched here. John Lester got a big contract. The Houston Astros guys got big contracts, and then Greinke's got a big contract. They're all pitching in the postseason, year after year after year. And I'm like, how is this happening?
Greinke hadn't been. I mean, he had to get traded to Houston.
Well,
in the middle
yeah,
of
but
the
it
year.
worked. I mean,
I
Verlander,
guess, here's the thing.
Scherzer. So
it's just an irony that in the regular season, the longest
I know.
part, you want Rendon. But if you had to go into the postseason, I gave you Rendon or Strasburg, you take Strasburg every time.
Yeah.
So you got to have that balance if you're putting together and budgeting a team that you're good enough to get to the postseason and have the stud arms to win it. Steven Strasburg was the MVP of the World Series for a reason, and wasn't he?
yeah.
Yeah. So you bring him. You gave me that look like.
Oh no.
Yeah. So you bring him
I was
back.
thinking about the Red Sox guys and how they won with Price and Sale, and
But they won because of their
well,
lineup.
it helps. I mean,
Yeah, but you even look at that postseason. They won a game 16-5.
Yeah,
I mean, Price has been a major disappointment for
Yeah.
Boston. So no matter what he's done any other time, he's maybe he gave him a good 3-inning stint in one of these postseasons.
I recently read an article about the Astros.
You're reading now.
Okay, yeah, you know me, I love to read. I recently read an article about the Astros and the cheating, and we've sat here and pounded this table and said things have to happen. I don't have the article in front of me. I wish I did, but it had a very good point. Man, through the history of baseball, cheating has been prevalent, just like that, except as technology advances. But it's all the same. In the 1900s, Pross, they ran a wire under the ground to help these guys figure out what was being pitched. So it's always been a part of the game, and none of those guys were punished. So it's interesting. They have to kind of figure out what direction they want to go in. And I bring that up because then, lo and behold, once again, New England gets accused of some things. Look, New England, you can call them dirty cheaters all you want and guilty on Spygate.
This one doesn't.
This one
hook
doesn't.
up.
Yeah, it doesn't.
First,
hook
people
up.
need to understand that. And look, people in
Who
the
the
audience.
hell's shooting the Bengals?
Well, here's it. Well, they're 1-11. What do you possibly learn? What not to do? But my point is this too. I think people in the audience don't differentiate, and they should. The Patriots production broadcast team that was
Right.
on the road there. That's not much different than the local ABC affiliate being there doing a story.
Oh, no, the Jags have their own production. I mean, our friends.
My point is they don't work in coordination on
Yeah.
football things. The Jags production, for example, the Jags production crew you're talking about,
Uh-huh.
they're not up in the eye in the sky shooting coaches' film.
No.
They're off doing TV shows.
Yes, they mic. There's a great. Did you see it online last night? Beef of Jan and Philip. It's
fantastic.
and it's something you'd like to watch as a Jags fan. The Jags broadcast group does a terrific job.
Absolutely.
They mic a guy every week, and they do a show on. I think it's on Fox. It's on Wednesday nights.
It's called Jaguared.
Yeah. And so I guess Jan was mic'd up.
Mm-hmm.
And so Philip.
Well, you saw him go at it. It's kind of in the second half there.
So Philip throws one to
And they went for the
Eckler,
touchdown.
And Jan reaches down and picks Philip up.
Uh-huh.
And Phil, as you know, is one of the great clean trash talkers in sport. So he goes, 90-yard touchdown! 90 yards! And he's screaming
right
it,
in his ear
walking with Jan. And Jan's like, all right, dude, but you don't have to do that right in my ear hole, man. And the ref cusses at
Yeah,
Philip,
yeah.
shoves him and says, get the bleep out of here.
Yeah.
And then Jan looks at the ref and goes, you see what I got to deal with here? And then Philip I can do whatever I want. I'm going to talk like that if I want to. You can't stop me. I'll talk wherever I want to. And he's yapping.
Yeah.
And Young goes, all right, I'll see you after the game.
Yeah, I saw that.
Now, to credit.
Hey, by the way, Philip, scream your way. You're 5'8", tough guy.
I know. But Philip is. He is so psycho though during
he
the
is
game.
Psycho, I know.
And and he's been that way since he was a kid at NC State, right?
Yeah.
But to his credit, he went up to Jan after the game and said, I should have said that. But it's great stuff, and it really was. But those are the types of things that these broadcast crews do.
They don't coordinate with the football side of things.
No, they don't.
Bill Belichick's not lying when he says, he doesn't even know they're there, Hick. Maybe he knows they're there because the scout falls under him. Here's what I was going to ask you.
Yes,
honest.
sir.
I want you to give me an honest answer, being a TV mogul.
Thank you.
What does he call himself?
Media mogul.
A media mogul, correct. We got some Hannah time today, too. That was just awesome. I don't know what morning this is, and Hannah keeps appearing in my life, but I'm all for Tuesdays. Anyway, she looks lovely today, too. I'm going to ask you this.
Yeah.
If you went and I think pretty much, by the way, it's not just the Jags and the Patriots. Just about every NFL team has its own broadcast team now.
Yes.
Okay?
Oh, yeah.
If you went through the raw footage of all of the broadcast teams in the NFL from this season, how many, intentionally or unintentionally, have shots of the opponent's sideline? I'm guessing about 32.
I would think so.
Right?
Yeah.
So they're also – and now look, their past behavior it caused you to raise flags.
That's fair.
But this is something that is not
this
a big
is a harmless
deal.
one. This is a harmless one.
I have one last question here to close out the 10-minute drill.
I'm the answer man.
Who lasts longer at their school?
Mm-hmm.
Lane Kiffin or Mike Norvell?
Mike Norvell.
For sure? Yeah. Because Kiffin moves on or because he gets axed?
He's more of a roll of the dice guy. Roll of the dice guy?
I feel like the condemnation and the I don't know, anger and vitriol and sarcasm towards Lane Kiffin has subsided a little bit. Is that only because he's been buried at FAU? I mean, he came back. He's got the early quip of the offseason.
Tarmac line.
In the SEC. Beef, do you have Lane Kiffin? Now, understand Lane Kiffin at USC was fired on a tarmac when his team got back from Arizona State. It was a little different, the reaction on the tarmac when he arrived at Ole Miss.
That's your guy?
That's my baby.
Oh, okay. All right. All-out choke right in there.
A lot better than another tarmac experience that I had. I didn't think of it. It was like an anniversary or something like that.
Not bad. Not bad. He also had the hit, I'm Lane Kiffin of Florida Atlantic. It's an exciting time to be an Owl.
Yeah, he wasn't very excitable that day, was he?
Yeah. So anyway, but I'll say this: Lane Kiffin will give somebody fits next year in the Southeastern Conference.
I bet you. Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
I just don't know what kind of head coach he is.
He's been kind of under the radar lately, but wait till he beats LSU, or Auburn, or Texas A&M, or some team that
quips will start.
Not supposed to. If I'm an Ole Miss fan, I'm willing to take this risk, though.
What do the Who Can You Count On say?
I think they're happy with it for now. I mean, could you have a more opposite coach than the one you just fired and the one you just hired?
Did you see the video of Lane on the tarmac?
No.
It was fan shot video of him on the tarmac.
It's like an arrival of a convention.
Well, so he's kissing the babies or whatever, and he's handing the baby back to the baby's father or grandfather, and you can hear, it's a little muddled, but you can hear the man that he hands the baby to tells him, "Get you a burner phone."
What's that for? Recruiting? What does that mean?
Definitely, just be dirty.
By the way, anytime the burner phone gets referenced, there's something shady going on.
Yeah, here we go.
You don't need a burner phone unless there's something shady going on.
If you're going to call Nick's daughter, get you a burner.
All right, let's do caller number 2 right now, Beef. Tell them what they're going to win at 641-1010. We'll come back. Heisman Trophy finalists announced. The Joe Burrow Award will be handed out Saturday, I suspect.
And I also want to talk about at some point this morning.
But there is one. I did vote for one guy who did not get invited to New York, so I'll see if you can guess who that is.
Okay, and Beef will often send us links to videos and stories and stuff, and I'll just take a quick glance of them and see the headline and move on. But I actually watched the one he sent yesterday, and we have all gone to sleep on an unbelievably compelling future NFL coach.
Oh!
That if not here, I'm not saying that, but, Charlotte, Cleveland, other places.
I'm not interested.
You're not at all.
No.
Second chapter
Even
of the
after
Wayne
watching
train.
that.
No.
Why would you not be interested in a Super Bowl champion?
No, I'm not interested in being the coach. I thought you were referring me in
Oh,
a video
not at
about
all.
me.
Yeah,
Oh.
not at all.
Oh.
That was another
Well,
thing.
we'll clean up that mess.
Forget about that.
Clean up that mess at some point as well, I
I've
guess.
shown that video I told you.
Speaking of the Who Can You Count On, it's a Catlin Truck Accessories Tuesday. Today brought to you by Lane Kiffin.
Caller 2 right now, 641-1010. Going to take home a selection from the 1010XL Holiday Gift Guide. That'll feature a $50 gift certificate to the Spa at One Ocean and a $25 Tobacco Cove gift certificate. For those and other great gift ideas, check out the Holiday Gift Guide at 1010XL.com.